Hi, everyone, and welcome. My name is Selena Belisle, and I am the founder of CE Institute, and I'm also one of the teachers here for evidence-based massage. We are teaching different routines and hands-on methods from research. And today I'm going to show you what the effects of aromatherapy massage for relief of constipation in the elderly looks like with a hands-on routine from research. Now, we translated some of this routine from Chinese. We found the routine here on pubmed.gov. When we went over, this was published in 2005. When we went over and downloaded the PDF, it was actually in Chinese. So we had to do a Google Translate on this. And keep in mind when you're trying to translate some words or from one language to another, the translation isn't always perfect. Sometimes there's English words that have no translation in foreign languages, and sometimes there's Chinese characters. They could have 7 different meanings in the English language, or there could be no word in the English language to translate the character. So we did the best we could with the translation. And we came up with this little protocol based on the methods that were published in that translated um, language. So, the sequence of the abdominal massage for this relief of constipation was as follows. First of all, they used rosemary, lemon, and peppermint essential oils. Those are all pretty much top notes. So, when you're practicing as an aromatherapist, you would want to blend your oil immediately prior to the appointment because, as top notes, they tend to dissipate and evaporate fairly quickly, faster than middle or base notes in essential oils. So you would want to blend this the morning of your treatment or right before your treatment. And the sequence, they asked the client to inhale the aroma first. It says that number 2, they're going to gently press around the navel in 4 different directions. We felt this was superior, inferior, and lateral, left and right of the navel. Now, when we do our pressure, we're going to circle with the pressure a little bit. We wanted to add a little bit of benefit for lymphatic drainage. Now, that's not straight up evidence based practice. When it's evidence based, you shouldn't alter from the hands on protocol. But because, again, this was translated from Chinese, we used a loose translation with our hands on techniques, and we enhanced them whenever we could. We're also going to have the client take some deep breaths with the abdomen compression. Not only does this help with lymphatic flow, and drainage, but it also helps with our client's comfort level with the compression as well. The next thing we're going to do, step 4 and 5 and 6 and 7, we're effleuraging in a clockwise direction around the navel itself. And when you watch me practice, you're going to watch me go with, they call it the blade of your hand. And I do have the benefit of working and spending a month with as a student at the Beijing Massage Hospital in Beijing, China. So I've seen a lot of Tuina Chinese massage. So when they said the blade of the hand, I think I got that correct in this recorded hands-on practice, which I'll show you right now. Once we finish, we'll do a percussion on the belly. Your percussion or tapotement is going to be a little bit different than the rest of the belly. You're going to see how I do that hand over hand. There's going to be some vibration techniques. Number 10 and number 11 to finish the sequence from research. We're going to end with 1 compression over the navel, and we do make that a stationary instead of a circling compression. Just to be clear, I put this on our blog this morning before recording this. Our goal when we are massaging the abdomen, I'm going to try and use one of these handy little markers they gave us here. We want to work up the ascending colon, across the transverse colon, and then down the descending colon. Okay, and then we just keep on going around. It goes to the sigmoid, and then we go up again, and we repeat the process. So when you watch me perform that abdominal massage With the aromatherapy, you're going to watch me working in a clockwise direction. Now, make sure prior to providing any massage with your client to ensure that you are no longer doing anything that would be contraindicated. Give me just one second. I'm trying to get my cursor back. There we go. So, I gave an example here in our blog this morning. And when you're doing your health intake prior to practicing the hands on routine, there's a condition called cystis inversus or situs inversus, which the organs are on the opposite side of the body. It's thought that this happens between 1 in 100,000 to 1 in a million live births. So, like the appendix is on the opposite side. Everything's opposite. Okay. So in that case, you would probably work in a counterclockwise manner on the abdomen. So there are some unique situations where during your health history with your client, you might discover that there are some either contraindications where you shouldn't be pressing into the abdomen and you need to rely on your rudimentary massage training when you became a licensed massage therapist to practice those health and medical recommendations and precautions and contraindications. And there might be some more that you'll have to investigate, maybe with a situation like the situs inversus, where you would want to look that up. You'd probably be working in the wrong direction if you were doing clockwise abdominal massage with them. So, this is what it looks like for your client on the massage table. And I've blended my oil with a peppermint, lemon, and I believe it's rosemary. And then we're going to, or let me see what it was. I'm going to put this on pause for a second so we make sure we get the right scents here. It was peppermint, lemon, and rosemary. Yes, that's correct. So the first thing that they have us do in this routine is the client's going to inhale the aroma. So this is number 1 on our sequence. We're going to inhale and exhale, and I'm bringing my hands over the nasopharyngeal passage so she can inhale that lovely aroma. Now I'm going to just feel for where the navel is, and I'm going to do the compressions through the abdomen. And I'm starting at 12 o'clock here, and I'm using like the flats of my finger pads and phalanges itself. Okay, I'm not using my fingertips. And I'm pressing down with about 2 pounds of pressure. I don't think more than 2 pounds is necessary. So we're going to work in a clockwise direction here. And you can start pretty much anywhere you wish. At the ascending colon, we're going to press down with an exhale and circle. Client's going to take big inhale, and as they exhale, we're going to press in and circle. Move over to the lateral side of the navel, press in and circle. So the client inhales, you release your pressure. The client exhales, and you push in with your pressure. And you can either do stationary compression, or I'm doing just a little bit of a circle just to give it a little bit of stimulation, make it feel a little bit more massage approach for my client. Usually clients enjoy movement over stillness. Although you can apply both would be therapeutic. So we're continuing to rotate around the abdomen with these compressions in the 4 different directions, as was advised in the research from 2005. Now I'm going to take a hand towel. I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to do what's called an accordion breast drape. You're going to watch me drop it like an accordion above the sheet, and I'm going to marry the fold of the hand towel with the fold of the sheet itself. I'm going to bring down the sheet and cover the breast with the hand towel. And then I'm just going to undrape the sheet while the towel is covering the breast. So there's no exposure whatsoever, and just undrape the abdomen. Now I've tucked the sheets into the front of the client's underwear. You might want to check with them prior to doing this. I'm just giving a little bit of touch to the client's abdomen so it's a little bit less of a shock when I apply the aromatherapy oil. I'm going to take this oil and I'm going to warm it up with friction in my hands, as you can see me practicing right now. And that's going to allow a little bit better warmth to the client's skin as I start my effleurage in a clockwise direction. So we're working clockwise, pretty much moving up from the ascending through the transverse and down the descending on the client's left-hand side of their body. So I'm pushing in like with the blade of my hand you just saw. See the blade of my left hand as I go across the transverse? And I'm going to bump this up in a minute and start using blades on both hands. But right now I'm focusing on my left hand blade. Pushing through, the right hand is following. And we're doing really nice effleurage of the abdomen, of the tummy. You can call it a belly massage, whatever you wish. So you see my left hand is blading through, and you can see how I'm showing you the blade of my hand as we're pushing, okay? So blading through with the left hand. Actually, that's my right hand, isn't it? So pushing through, nice circles. You're going to see my right hand start blading down right here on the descending colon. So blade across transverse, and then blade down with the right. Blade across transverse, right hand is going blading transverse and blading descending colon. And I believe this is what was meant in this study for abdomen massage to relieve constipation, is to use your blades of your hands. Sometimes you'll feel if the tummy feels taut, the underlying tissues feel taut. Sometimes you can feel if the client might be a little bit constipated. Okay. It takes a couple years of practice, but eventually you'll be able to feel kind of a soft tummy or a tummy that doesn't feel soft. It feels hard. And when it feels hard in the underlying tissues, then you know you might have a constipated client. So you can see I'm using both blades of my hand. Sometimes I'm alternating the blade, as you can see with my right hand. I'm going to use the right now it's the radial blade, and now it's the ulna blade of my left hand, the pinky, the thumb radial blade moving down, descending, and then the ulnar blade on my left hand going across transverse. So we didn't really have time frames that we saw translated in this study, but I did this abdomen massage for several minutes in the circular effleurage. I've done my blades. Now I'm just making nice in a nice circular effleurage. No more blades here. I call this making nice. I'll probably go around about 10 times, 10 evolutions around the navel to make nice after the blade work. With the blade work, I'm not doing anything more than maybe 4 pounds of pressure tops. It's pretty light pressure. We don't need to do a lot of pressure. Now I'm going to do what's they're calling percussion. This you could also call this tapotement with the abdomen, where I'm placing one hand flat and then just topping the second hand on top of that. Okay, this is my idea of percussion for the abdomen. I wouldn't necessarily be doing a flat hand hacking tapotement. This is probably one of the most appropriate percussion techniques for the abdomen. There are others, but this is the one that we chose to exercise with this evidence-based protocol based on what I've seen at the Beijing Massage Hospital in person too in 2001. So I'm going to do this evolution maybe around 10 times around the navel. It didn't say how long we're going to do each movement. And most of the times with evidence-based protocols, especially the more up-to-date ones, they will have, we did this for 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, 6 minutes. After my percussion, I'm making nice again with the abdomen, just doing some nice circular effleurages, hopefully stimulating, getting things moving. This evidence-based protocol is for clients who are constipated. And not only do we feel the aromatherapy might affect and be helpful with that, but of course the manual hands-on massage is probably the big part of it. Now we're going into vibration, where we're just taking our flat hand and vibrating, just moving very quickly back and forth, back and forth. And the routine did call for vibration. I was a little uncomfortable doing this, but it's what the evidence showed. I would have loved to skip it, but then I really wouldn't have been practicing from evidence to skip any of these methods, any of these hands-on sequences. So I did my vibration a couple times, and I'm making nice again with the effleurage, which is really overly emphasized in the routine. And then after I do my effleurages, making nice, stimulating, working in the direction of the intestine, large intestine, pushing through ascending, transverse, and descending. I'm going to do one nice compression here of the navel. Have the client inhale and exhale and compress. And that's it. Now, when I drape the client, you can notice that I draped her right over the towel. Okay. I usually do not remove the towel unless I'm rolling the client over into pronated position. It feels weird dragging the towel out from underneath the sheet. So I'll just leave it there. And then when the client sits up, before I leave the room, when they're dismounting the table to dress, I'll just remind them you have a towel across your chest. Just, make sure you're aware of that when you're sitting up so that they can be prepared for that extra draping. So that is our evidence-based demonstration of following some research that we found online at the National Library of Medicine, pubmed.gov. And we hope you enjoyed.